Nothing has helped Chinese influence more than the Trump administration, pushing the rest of the world to join with China and turn them against the United States. What did we think was going to happen when Donald Trump declared that his major platform was America First, bringing in and pulling in all the oars of global support, of global funding, attacking our allies with tariffs, and now on full display at a giant Beijing economic summit, bringing together the head of Russia, the head of North Korea, the head of India, the head of Turkey, and the rest to kind of stick it to Donald Trump and, more importantly, to the American people. On display right now, going to be in China with a giant military parade, just what we want to see. Standing at attention, Putin, Kim Jong-un, Modi from India, and all the other people Donald Trump has made our enemies, of course. And this is just drawn closer together. And instead of driving a wedge between China and Russia to make us safer, Donald Trump, by the way he's handling the attack on Ukraine, the way he's handling China, has drawn them together. I'm Michael Popok. We're drawn together. We're here on Legal AF on Sunday morning. Let's get into things related to economics and policy. As I've said from the very beginning, Donald Trump's policies, his tariff attacks on our allies, not just our enemies, the way he's managing his relationship with China was making China and increasing its influence around the world. Just polling alone from 35 countries, China's standing in the world has improved almost 7 or 8 points since Donald Trump's been in office. We are forcing people to run into the arms of Russia and China and away from America. I mean, this is the direct byproduct of closing American diplomatic missions around the world, which we have done. Hollowing out the State Department, getting rid of Voice of America, getting rid of funding for democratic institutions around the world, getting rid of funding to help people stand up our brand of democracy, to support our brand of democracy around the world, to use our business interests to curry favor and to get people to go towards the light of democracy and away from totalitarian regimes. When you have a president of the United States that is a totalitarian dictator, it is very difficult for the rest of the world to think that's the leader of the free world that I want to follow. And so instead, into the breach, into the vacuum created by Donald Trump's pullouts, and then the attack on our allies with tariffs, steps the Chinese. And now in a city called Tianjin, there's going to be a big summit starting on Monday. And guess who's going to be featured at the summit? It's supposed to be about a celebration of the defeat of the Japanese during World War II, but it's not. It's an economic showcase for the Chinese. And standing right next to him is going to be Vladimir Putin. You know, the guy that's thumbed his nose at Donald Trump's attempts at diplomacy? He shouldn't get the Nobel Peace Prize. Donald Trump should be indicted as a war criminal for how he's handling or mishandling Ukraine. You know how many people, dozens and dozens of people, including children, have died since Donald Trump's Alaska summit with Putin, where he bowed down and applauded for Putin coming off the plane? Putin has Donald Trump wrapped around his finger. And now he's going to China because he needs Chinese economic support, because Donald Trump has threatened to turn off the spigots of the Russian economy, and Putin is turning towards China. Trump likes to blame Biden for everything. Oh, Biden brought China and Russia together. That's total and complete BS. The reason that they are now joined at the hip is because Russia desperately needs China, and China needs Russia to turn away from the West, knowing that Russia is already on the radioactive list because of their attack on Ukraine. They have instead said, all right, well, come join us. Come join us. Modi from India, who spent a lot of political capital campaigning literally for Donald Trump in America on stages where he came out, for Donald Trump. He just got nailed. His country just got nailed with a 50% tariff because he's continuing to supply oil or buy oil from Russia. So he's going to this conference, this economic conference. Turkey, which is always sort of a little bit of an unreliable participant in NATO and in Europe, they're going to the conference. And this is going to be a giant showcase for the military prowess of China. and their technology that we are now supporting by allowing companies like NVIDIA, the world's biggest, most wealthiest company and chip manufacturer here in the United States, sell its AI chips and other sophisticated chips to China. When you sell to China, you're selling directly to the Communist Party and the military to install and upgrade their military technology, now on full display at the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit that's happening this week. Think of the optics of it. You've got the dictator of North Korea, the dictator of Russia, standing next to the dictator of China, all putting up the middle finger to the United States. This is exactly what happens when you pull out of your responsibilities as the world superpower, you abdicate your responsibilities as the world's police person, the policeman of the world, which was the United States, and the leader of the free world. When you pull that out, what steps in is turning people away from the West and towards the East. And that's what we're watching the Russians and Chinese very happily do, undermining our national security, undermining our economic security, all to put a couple of more shekels in the treasury by way of tariffs. We upended 100 years of global relationships that we developed assiduously through diplomacy and economics. We upended that so Donald Trump could wallpaper over his failed economic policies. And of course, the recipient of it, whose influence has now grown as a positive influence, is China, our arch enemy. And Russia taking full advantage of it, and China taking full advantage of Russia. They prove the old adage, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. This is a friends summit. This is an enemy of my enemy summit, the enemy being the United States. And now we've pushed India and all of its giant economic market over to the East and away from the West, as the Europeans try to scramble to hold things together for us and basically babysit democracy until we get a proper president in office by 2028 and hopefully Donald Trump lame duck as of the midterms. That's what they're doing. The Europeans are babysitting democracy. And what's suffering? You and me and our economy. Don't look to the stock market. The stock market is overperforming on a bubble driven by technology and AI at the moment. But it's not even doing well as some other stock markets around the world. It's actually a fourth or fifth best performing under Donald Trump. But the stock market is not your economic health. Okay? It is a factor if you happen to have stock in the stock market. But if you don't, what you pay at the supermarket matters. What you pay at the gas pump, what you pay for health insurance, what you pay for child care, for senior care, you know, how many jobs you have to have in order to make ends meet, that's what matters. And that's everything that Donald Trump completely ignores. As the Chinese eat our lunch, as the Russians sit down at the same table, as the Indians join, as the Turkish sit down as well, and the North Koreans. This is like a rogues gallery of what used to be the enemies of the American people that Donald Trump has emboldened, empowered, and increased their global influence led by China. Allegedly, the Trump administration has been operating under some sort of reverse Kissinger theory from back in the 70s with Nixon. We're going to drive a wedge between Russia and China. Yeah, that's not working. The driving the wedge part. All we're doing is by destabilizing Russia economically, which we should be doing to punish them for what they're doing and what they're killing, people that they're killing in Ukraine. We're bolstering China. China might economically suffer a bit by the tariffs, but they're gaining so much in economic relationships around the world that it more than makes up for it. I'm going to continue to follow it all right here. This is my morning economic analysis global edition here on Legal AF. I do it every morning, first video. Here, we're doing it on Labor Day weekend. Appreciate you being here with us, taking time out of your families. We're celebrating organized labor on this Labor Day weekend, which we need to. It's under attack, among other things, in America. And come on over to Legal AF, the Substack as well. Help us on that channel and help us grow that channel, which is a companion piece to what we're doing here on Legal AF YouTube channel. It's a little more vibrant community in the sense that we can talk to each other. I can do lives. We have a lot of postings there we can't do here on the more static world of YouTube. This is great for the videos that we're doing. But if you wanted to kind of get into it and really get new information and new teachings, Legal AF Substack is for you. So until my next report, I'm Michael Popok. Can't get your fill of Legal AF? Me neither. That's why we formed the Legal AF Substack. Every time we mention something in a hot take, whether it's a court filing or a oral argument, come over to the Substack. You'll find the court filing and the oral argument there, including a daily roundup that I do called, wait for it, Morning AF. What else? All the other contributors from Legal AF are there as well. We got some new reporting. We got interviews. We got ad-free versions of the podcast and hot takes. Where? Legal AF on Substack. Come over now to free subscribe.